Hi, Sophie.
Hello,
Thanks for joining me today. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I think I'm good.
You look great between all these amazing paintings. I just love it.
Welcome to my world.
um, so let's start then. How have the last few months been for you?
Well, obviously it's been difficult times for everybody, but for me personally, it's been a very exciting time. I have to say it's been about the most exciting time of my life. I mean, obviously it's tempered with the difficult times that we've had in the world, obviously, but for me, and because I've only been painting for 3 or 4 years as a freelancer, I didn't have any books to show the government. So, 80% of nothing is very much nothing. So I didn't get any help from the government in terms of support or anything like that. So luckily, in the first week or so of the lockdown, I heard about a scheme called the Artist Support Pledge, which was started up by an artist called Matthew Burrows, who's apparently he's got an MBE for it last week. He was given an MBE for this amazing support group that he set up for artists on Instagram. And so the idea was you put in a piece of work, you sell it for up to £200, and then people will buy your work, and once you've made up to £1,000, you then pledge to buy another artist's piece of work for £200. So I put a piece on, and first of all I started off by clearing out my archive of work, and it was brilliant. I sold about 70 pieces of work. Yeah. And it was just painting in bed, painting everywhere, painting wherever I could, painting pictures and selling them quite cheaply. So it was just a really fluid, creative, exciting period of my life. And obviously we had the stillness of lockdown and the beauty of in nature, the beauty, the silence. Everything was looking more fantastic. So I was able to really knuckle down and paint, and I was going off to the post office sometimes with 7 rolls under my arms, 14, and it was really, really a great, exciting time, and the feedback I was getting as well from Instagram really boosted my confidence, and kind of I could see which way people not that I'm guided by what people like actually, but I could see what people like and what people didn't like as much and what was more popular, which was interesting for me, but it doesn't have an effect on what I paint. Yeah.
It's really great to hear how it energized you as well, all these things. You kind of mentioned a bit like how it changed the way you work, but also I was going to ask, how do you think this change that you have has through the pandemic, lockdown, and everything? Do you think you're gonna continue working? Did you take anything with you that you're gonna take it with you, and it's gonna sort of continue to affect the way you work?
Yeah, absolutely. It's changed a lot. It's changed a lot. What I found really exciting was that I could paint a painting and then post it off to somebody in a tube, and they were getting an original piece of art, hand painted piece of art that was just raw, straight off the paintbrush. I was putting it on Instagram, and then it was going, and it just felt really creative and raw and spontaneous. And I loved the fact that I was sending off pure paintings and that people were going to receive them, and that they weren't that expensive, so they were able to buy them. People were often saying, "Oh, I can't normally afford to buy paintings, but this is my opportunity." And I loved that. I found that really exciting. it was all, you know, it was just an exciting experience really to paint and yeah, rather than prints. I mean, prints are great, and you know, I like selling limited edition prints and stuff, but selling the raw thing got me going really. And so now the way it's changed really is that I like to paint quite spontaneously. I could show you my windows actually. I don't know if I can twist this round. Show you my. I'm just going to show. Oh, can you see?
Yes, I can.
Table. But I've painted. Oh, you can't really see the horses. There's birds and horses on my windows. But I really got into painting quite freely, spontaneously, painting windows, painting just being more carefree around it, and that loosened up some energy, and it made things more spontaneous and just made my work more heart-based. And that's what I'm really about, is painting from here. Yeah, so because I was knocking them out pretty quickly, I think they were better than ones that I spend longer time on, less laboured. They had the spark and the vibrancy that I find exciting.
Beautiful. I think that's also the connection you have with people who buy your paintings, and they you know, firsthand, and they immediately been delivered by you. I think that sort of like gives you that different way of communicating as well. So I'm seeing all your obviously paintings and drawings behind you, and will we able to see your new work in your open house in November? And what other work will you be showing?
Well, I mean, I actually sold pretty much everything over the lockdown, so I then didn't have much. I was a bit concerned about the open house. And then also, I have actually been caring for my mum. So I've been sharing with my brother full-time care for my mother for the last year, and she's just gone into care. So what was lovely is I was working with my mum before she went into care. She has Alzheimer's, and we were working together at the kitchen table, and we'd paint. So that was a very rich period of my life as well. And I kept a lot of those because they felt close to my heart, that we painted those together. And then I sold lots. And so this is the kind of new thing that's been emerging. And I don't know if you can really see them that clearly, but I'm really interested in these statues. So this one, oh, it's wet, still wet, but I'm really into these statue figures, which are about us, our own mental states, and being stuck in a position, stuck in a state. And so the statues represent that, and sometimes they're a bit truncated, like a leg might be missing, or part of them is missing. And then the fountain is represents freedom and flowing movement. Because, you know, like a fountainhead is always producing something new. It's not static. There's always this new movement. So the statue and the figures, there's something about that duality that I'm really interested in at the moment. So that one's not finished. That I've just ignore the leg bits because I've scrubbed them off. So that's going to change. But that's the latest one. And so this one up here on the wall there, I'll get it down actually. I'll get it to you. This one is, I can't tell you what's happening with this, but something really exciting. There's something really exciting happened with this painting, and it's been blown up and it's going somewhere exciting. But a secret at the moment. So that again is the statues, and these ones are statues in the heavenly garden. So they're kind of frozen in these mental states. They're frozen, but sometimes in a beautiful state, you know. But they're not seeing the heavenly garden for what it really is. They can't really fully see it. So that's really about us and our human condition, really, of how we get stuck and we can't actually see the beauty around us. We're in our minds. So
that's beautiful. I like the way you always have these movements almost captured in your painting, and almost like they continue to move on a canvas, and now there's a movement of water, and that blue gives that sort of serenity, isn't it? I'm just
Thank
looking
you.
because there's two of your side has like really beautiful fountains. It's just exactly.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny how I would never have imagined doing this, and then suddenly it kind of emerges from somewhere. And yeah, I'm really excited. So this one has been inspired by the lockdown and that freedom of painting quite quickly, and it always captures something more human, something that comes right from here, I think, when it's done with a bit of speed. And that I'm noticing is quite hard to achieve. You know, I can labor away and do something, but it doesn't quite have that same quality.
Beautiful. So my next question is related to you being the brochure cover artist for AOH. What does this and your image of hope mean to you?
Yeah, it's quite significant, really. The image of hope. It's three women, and they're all placing their hands on their heart, and they're looking skyward. So they're hoping beyond hope for freedom, really. And it's freedom from different things, but really freedom from the outer and the inner experience. So freedom from this crazy world that's going on at the moment, these difficult times, but also freedom from our own inner turmoil and our own inner suffering. I think probably most people experience some form of inner turmoil, usually wanting something that wanting things to be other than they are, craving things to be different, in some way, and it causes a tension in our beings. And so the image of hope is really hoping for change, hoping for freedom and liberation from human suffering. And in that sense of hope and liberation, they are then able to then go forth and help other beings as well. So once you've seen through your own stuff, you're able then to go and help others see through theirs. And so that's the image of hope, really. It's sort of it's about our inner and outer experience.
So you have quite a lot of achievements. So last year you also won the AOH Best Open House Award, and previously the AOH Best Newcomer Award. Your painting Hurt was selected for the Royal Academy's 250th summer exhibition, where it appeared in Grayson Perry's hand-curated Yellow Room. Amazing. What impact have these recognitions of your work had for you?
Well, I mean, it's been really exciting, I have to say. I mean, I've only been painting, well, I was an illustrator for 20 years before, and then gave up, and then had this sort of long, well, it felt like a long time, a few years of creative block, really, where I did nothing, and it was incredibly painful, having sort of creativity in me, but not being able to get it out somehow. So when I started 4 years ago, it was just this unleashing of what I needed to get out, really, and it kind of teamed with my meditation practice as well. And I decided what I was going to do is, rather than when I was illustrating, what I used to do was think, okay, what do they want? What am I going to do that they're going to like? And it dawned on me that I'm never going to know what other people are going to like. I can never know what because they are everyone and they like all sorts. And I was trying to fit myself into these different agendas, really, and I couldn't, because all I ever knew was what I wanted to do and what I could do. So there was this shift of looking for what they want to what I want to do. So I just started listening in, going in, listening to my own experience. What is it that I can do? What is it that I love? What is it that makes my heart sing? And started just doing that. And it kind of opened doors for me somehow. Yeah, I mean, just listening in and painting from the heart without, it felt uncontrived, you know, so I don't really care. Well, I do care, obviously, that people like it, but I don't either. Whereas when I was illustrating, I cared. Will they like it? You know, what are they going to think about it? Whereas now, it doesn't matter if it comes out. It's out. It just needs to come out, and it feels much freer. The process feels really free, and if an image is resonating with me and chiming, then I'll leave it. So this one at the moment needed to have that scrubbed off. So that's going to change. And do you know what? But underneath that was a whole painting of birds, a landscape painting. So, but because that image wasn't really chiming for me, had to be painted over. So it just gets to that point where it just goes, bring, and then I feel it's okay. Gets to that point. And so that's really the rules I had for myself. If it feels joyous and it's chiming, then I'll go with that. If it feels concretey and sludgy, then it gets changed and we move on. So that was really my process, and that's what so far up until now has opened these doors for me. So it's a really exciting way of working.